Okay, this video is for to write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through the given point and is perpendicular to the given point 2, 4. So we have our point 2, 4. So our line that we create has to be perpendicular to the equation you see on the whiteboard, and it has to go through, our equation has to go through a point at draw a line has to go through 2, 4. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put it in y-intercept form. I want to transfer this into slope-intercept form or y-intercept form, however you want to call it. So I'm going to take this, I'll change the color on you. So I'm going to say x minus 6y equals 2. Since this is a plus x, I'm going to subtract x to both sides. And when I do, I get negative 6y equals negative x plus 2. I just went ahead and put my negative x first, and then just since this is a positive 2, I just put plus 2 there. Remember, this cancels out, so you just bring down the negative with the 6y. Alright, now I will still want the y by itself. See, there's just y, so I want the y by itself. So what's being done to y? It's being multiplied by negative 6. So the opposite is divide by negative 6 to everything. These two cancel out, so we got y equals. Now notice the next one I have a negative x. That's like saying negative 1x. And two negatives make a positive, so we're just going to say 1/6. See the fraction 1/6 there? And I'm talking about right up here. See how this makes a fraction? It's 1/6x, and it's positive because of the two negatives. Then the other one, you only see one negative, so it's a negative, and you have 2/6. But if you reduce 2/6, you get 1/3. Because I can divide both of these by 2. That's how I got 1/3. They're both even, so when they're even, you can divide them both by 2. So here is my equation that we just changed from standard form to y-intercept form. So we just changed this. So this actually has been changed into that. That's what we did. So otherwise this has been changed to that really. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to put what we changed it to. So we changed that, and so I'm going to put it right here. Y equals 1/6x minus 1/3. Now what? Well, now that we have to kind of look at what we're given. We're given a point, which is right here. And now we need a slope, because think about it, when we talk about perpendicular lines, that's when two lines intersect and they make a 90-degree. The slopes are opposite. So our slope is 1/6. So for it to be perpendicular, instead of a plus, we are now going to change it to a minus. And instead of 1/6, we're really just flipping it. So we're going to take the 6 that's on the bottom, put on the top, and the 1 that's on the top and put on the bottom. And really, negative 6 over 1 is negative 6. So we can just use the whole number, negative 6 in this case. So let's go back and change this. So I'm going to say y equals, I'm sorry. Since we already know the new slope, and I should have wrote that down, the slope now is going to be negative 6 because we just showed you how to do it. So now I have a point and I have a slope. So this is my slope here, and this is my point here. Alright, so we're going to use these for the point slope form. And the point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Alright, so remember, because they're perpendicular, the slopes are the opposite. That means they're different signs, and you flip them. So because we have 1/6, we flip it. Now it's 6/1, and now it's going to be a negative 6/1, and negative 6/1 is negative 6 actually. Alright, so I'm going to plug these in. Remember, this is my x value, this is my y value, so I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And I'm going to change color so we can kind of see it better. Y minus 4 equals negative 6, and we have x minus 2. Now we're going to distribute. So when I do, I get y minus 4. Let me change that back. I picked the wrong cover. Y minus 4 equals negative 6x. And now negative 6 times a negative 2 is a positive 12. Subtract, we have a subtract 4, so now we're going to get the y by itself by adding 4 to both sides. And so look, y equals a negative 6x plus 16. Now the key thing is to look at your slopes. Our original slope, when we converted it from here to slope-intercept form, our slope was 1/6. Now our slope, positive 1/6. Now our slope is negative, which is the opposite of positive. And instead of 1/6, if we flip it, it's 6 over 1. So I mean, really, technically, this is 6 over 1. We just don't have to put the over 1. So this is our answer. And again, if we graph this, our graph would look like somewhat like, if you put in a graphing calculator, you should have some kind of crisscross where one line's going this way and another line's going this way, and it should appear to be making 90-degree angles, depending on if we're doing perpendicular or not. So this line here is perpendicular to the cloud one that I have right here. These two are perpendicular. And I'll change this so you can kind of see a little better. These two are perpendicular.